Hi, so my name is Alexia. I co-founded a tech company with my partner, which is called Cabinet Noir. And basically what we do is deliver software solution to different types of clients. It can be normal, well, I call them normal clients as in the traditional industry, or Web3 clients as well. And it's any type of software. We usually do more DeFi. And to relate that to your AI topic, we use a lot of different AI tools to mostly automate our operations. So I've been in the tech industry for a while now, about a bit more than 10 years. I've always been interested in the automation topic. Automation wasn't really big until, tools like Make, Nathan, well, N8N, as most people say, came in the market. And I've been a user of Nathan since the past, year and a half to 2 years, trying to automate as much as I can, especially the repetitive tasks that don't have an enormous added value to your operations, and operations that are time consuming, where you could just avoid doing them. There's a tool that can do it for you. I basically did it on my own. I'm more comfortable and I know exactly the topics that I do not understand, So usually I just read the documentation about a tool and I try to understand how I can connect these tools together to automate the path or whatever is the task that I'm trying to resolve, basically. I mostly do the front end in the softwares that we deliver. I use Grok in my day-to-day. I also use a lot of ChatGPT for research and trying to help structure my thoughts, and Nathan pretty much every day, which is N8N, as people call it. Now, ChatGPT is really good. I mean, it's just I use it for general purpose, and then whenever I need general purpose research, not to spend too much time on researching on my own. Although sometimes most times I do ask the sources when it's a research, and I also do a little quick Google research just to make sure, because random example, I've been doing tax research lately and visa research, and it's just, you still need the sources to make sure that, because there's the problem of the way in which AI works is just that it's gonna check, the content that is created online, but because more increasingly content is created by AI itself, it's just trash. And the original source is lost. So sometimes you have to go back to the basics and just check the original source and make sure that the AI is understanding it properly. Otherwise your information is just plain wrong. AI per se is not intelligent. It's a summarizing tool. It's just gonna check every source online and just summarize it in a tiny text for you. But if 90% of that content took was wrong, the summary is just going to be wrong. So I don't know how you call that, meta prompting. I prompt a prompt, and that is really helpful actually. And I've seen an increase in the quality of the results that I get at the end when I meta prompt, especially when it comes to coding or tasks like this. Again, I'm mostly in automation. It's I use AI as a tool to resolve a specific issue, but my issues change every day. So it's difficult to say, other than Nathan and ChatGPT, there's no specific tool that I always use on a daily basis. It's mostly, again, an automation pipeline, general research, whatever pipeline, which is ChatGPT, and then the rest just adopts depending on my needs. I think everything. I think it's also confidence. For example, sometimes I read documentation and I'm not entirely sure about whether my understanding is correct or not. So I'm just gonna copy paste that piece of info on ChatGPT and double check and be like, hey, do they mean this by that? And it's gonna help. So to me, I think it's confidence and clarification. And also a lot of time winning as well when it comes to, summarization. What surprised me the most? I think the speed at which it is evolving, because I remember when I started working on some projects, I used specific models, and the results were good. They were not amazing. And now the results are wow, really, it blows you away. Because again, I've been working in the tech industry for a while and I know what developers can deliver, and it's just that thing can deliver what a senior developer could do in a week, but it just does it in a minute, and it's just crazy. I think the speed of execution, yeah. Yeah, everything. I use it for everything, I'm not gonna lie. To make research, mostly. I think coding, just because it's so much faster. I mean, pretty much everything, like coding, research. Again, I think naturally I'm an anxious person, and so I like to have, a tool that can tell me, yeah, you're correct, or your analysis is partially correct or partially incorrect or whatever. ChatGPT, I mean, of course. I know it's the basic. I know it's super basic, but it's a great general purpose model. I mean, Grok is great for coding, Claude is great for coding, but usually I don't know, like ChatGPT has a thing by which you feel comfortable with it. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I don't mind. Claude is a bit more structured, so it doesn't feel as natural speaking to it. AI tool I love. I think ChatGPT is not used to its full potential. But again, I use tools depending on the context of the work that I'm executing, so I don't have any favorite. It's not prompting correctly. For example, I have a friend whose job is to translate official documents from French to English or English to Irish or vice versa. And we were discussing, the advent of AI, and she was just telling me, oh yeah, I've tried using it, but it's just the result is terrible. And I think the result is terrible because the prompt is probably terrible. And it's just, if you don't even need to prompt correctly, you can just meta prompt, just prompt your prompt and just input this as, the prompt for the result that you're looking for, and your result is going to be 10 times better. And I feel most people get bad results and they get frustrated with AI just because they don't know how to prompt. But they don't know that it's a thing. I think there's a lack of visibility around the importance of prompting. It's like, you have to imagine that AI is like a child. If you tell your child, I'll color it in blue. Yeah, but which blue? Is it cyan? Is it magenta? Is it whatever? Like, you have to give it very specific instructions. If you do, it's going to be great. It's really easy to make. It's just take the habit of, if you want a specific result, you're prompted. I think people usually have difficulties because they're not specific enough in their mind in regards to the result that they want. If you're able to visualize your results, as in, look, I want my app to look like this and that, and the button to be here and to be pink and to whatever, AI can 100% do it. Of course, if you don't tell anything, if you just tell it, I want an app that does whatever for restaurant booking, it's just gonna give you bullshit. You have to be extremely specific about what you want. And like a great management exercise, because it forces you to be very clear about the outcome that you want. And that's super important. AI psychology, is important because I feel like a lot of people don't really understand AI. They know it exists. First of all, they don't know how to use it because they don't know how to prompt. And second, they don't really understand, its power, its limitation, and the risk. Of course, there's risks. I don't think we're going to arrive to a Terminator scenario. But equally, I don't think that we can control 100% of it. There's a well-known thing, which is an AI black box. There's a black box. At some point, we don't know how the algorithm is working anymore. And that's a danger. It's like, we have no idea what it's doing in this black. I mean, it's not like metaphysical black box thing somewhere. No, it's just like an engineering feature that is there. I mean, it is a risk, right? But I think that if you're able to explain this to your users, your community, then you can demystify a little bit of like the darkness and incomprehension around AI. And I think that's important because what AI was made for was, technically, is to empower people. We don't want AI to replace people's work, but we want people to use AI to gain more control over their time. It's about, I don't want to send like 10,000 emails that, have zero, like very little added value. Like, I could get an agent for that. It's going to take me 5 minutes to set up. And that's what we want. That's the result we're looking for. But a lot of people don't know that it exists. They think it's I don't know, sometimes I feel frustrated because I see online a lot of influence or whatever, these agencies that, the automation agencies that make it sound like very complicated or very expensive, but it's not true. Like anyone could set it up in a matter of one day or two in their current stack. It's just, yeah, of course it takes skill, of course it takes knowledge, but I think like if you can demystify all that part, that would be great. Like just people understand that they can have sovereignty over their AI. Like AI is not a monster. Oh, I need AI to automate my emails. It's like, no, this is not AI. I mean, unless you need an AI agent to write that email, then yeah, it's AI. But if it's just like sending emails, this is called automation. It's not the same thing. And even when people search and they think, for example, I mean, I have another friend who has a very traditional French company. He was like, oh yeah, I'd like AI everywhere. And I'm like, no, it's not AI, it's automation. You need a better structure, and this is completely different. So I think like clarifying this is very important for people as well. Like telling them, look, there's an automation pipeline, which is called Make and Nathan, whatever you want to call it. And then you can plug APIs, MCPs, AI tools, whatever, but they're different things. AI skill. I think meta prompting. I mean, prompting correctly. 100%. We're building an AI agent that can basically manage pretty much everything in your life for you. Emails, calendar. I mean, all the small things, like, I don't know, save this message, save this link, send me a reminder, like all the small stuff that's polluting your brain that you don't want to do because you just don't have time or you forget. Yeah, I want to delegate that to an agent 100%. But I want it to be my agent.
Yeah. So it's kind of personal assistant.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. When we look at AI creators, whether it's Sam Altman, Elon Musk, etc., they all had a different reading of where AI would take us. Elon Musk has always been very defensive, until a recent point, he always said, look, this thing is dangerous, we have to stop it. I don't know if they wrote and signed that document. And at some point, I think it was last year, a few years ago, he gave up. He was like, okay, when Altman launched ChatGPT, OpenAI, he was like, okay, the race is on. Because the problem is AI is such a powerful tool. If you don't get on, you're just obsolete. AI is clearly going to be a revolution that we've never had before. I mean, we've had technology that have changed the way in which we live, like cars, phones, railways. They destroy jobs, but they also create new ones. The problem that we're having with AI is that we don't really know where the creation is going to be yet because AI is so versatile, it can replace so many jobs. And I think that's the risk and also kind of the point where people get scared. I think bringing visibility and rationality can help people understand look, I can actually also use AI and become better at AI and have an added value in the AI industry instead of fearing it and hiding from it because it's not going to go you're not going to get away. AI is here to stay. So you have to learn to use it. You have to learn to harness its power. So 2 years from now, I think we're still going to be in the worst. The models are going to get better. They're going to get faster, they're going to get more powerful. I fear that for society, especially on social media, there's going to be a ton of how do you call that, fake news or fake info. And people are not going to be able to tell apart oh, this video is real, this video is fake. So there's going to be a period, which I think will last between 5 to 10 years, which will bring a lot of uncertainty and disequilibrium and people will be lost. I think everyone's pretty much going to freak out. And then at some point, I think when we're going to adapt to AI, societies are going to stabilize and we're going to be able to implement it in our daily life, in our daily work. We're going to find new jobs, etc. And yeah, things are going to get better. But maybe I'm a pessimist or whatever, but I think for the next decade there's going to be a lot of uncertainty. Well, yes and no. So I forgot something to mention. My partner and I are both members of the EU AI office, which means that we were some of the first to review the EU regulation on AI and to comment on it and to have talks with the EU AI office, etc. The EU is trying to regulate. The problem is that we have competition from China and the US, which are not regulating. And so it's kind of an unfair competition because, you know, like Europe as a continent has always been very paternalistic and very protective. The US and China don't care. They just want to be the first. They just want to colonize the markets. And where they're trying to regulate a tool for a population that is also using other tools in jurisdictions that are not regulated. So it's not a lack of regulation, it's a lack of international, alignment. And that's the main problem, because if we start regulating everything in Europe, all the entrepreneurs, they're still going to innovate. They're just going to innovate in China and the US. So innovation is going to happen. Users are still going to use these models. I mean, you use ChatGPT. ChatGPT is a US jurisdiction. It's a really difficult topic. And that's why, you know, in the UAA office, we're trying to regulate, but not overly regulating, because otherwise you lose your competitiveness. I mean, GDPR is it's not perfect. I know a lot of people criticize it, and I'm also a very privacy-oriented person. At least what's good about it is that as long as a company, regardless of the jurisdiction in which it was implemented, as long as they target European customers, they have to respect GDPR, and that's a good point. Yeah, again, it's not perfect, whatever you want, but at least it's a first step, you know, towards something. I'm happy to rediscuss with you on any topic. LinkedIn, click there.